This car here behind me is supposed to be the electric Sportage. This is the new Kia EV5, the new electric SUV. And you see here, bold stance on road today, all the way in black. And we're in Korea for you here today, where this car is also built to experience exterior, interior, and the driving. And can this one here convince, for example, existing Kia Sportage customers to go electric now? We'll find out with Thomas Nautigefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with the Kia EV5 with this closed front grille. Very distinctive look, a lot of light signature play here horizontal, and then here this star map Kia design in the front as well. And we have really compact Sportage comparable dimensions of 4.61 m or 182 inches. 19-inch wheels in black here in this case, because this is the sporty GT line. Otherwise, you would start with 18-inch and battery at 81 kilowatt hours. You have the charging flap here right front, passenger side, AC 11 kilowatt, DC is 150 kilowatt peak, and we have 10 to 80% in 30 minutes. This is a 400 volt board net, so unlike the EV6, which has the 800 volt board net, charges quicker. This one here charges slower. However, this is the larger vehicle, more trunk space. So this is here the more family-oriented version. And as I said, the direct brother or sister to the Sportage, just in the electric version. And it also looks like a smaller Kia EV9, don't you think so as well? Later, there will also be all-wheel drive versions available. This one here, however, starts first front-wheel drive, 280 horsepower and 8.4 seconds in the acceleration figure. 1.2 tons of possible towing capacity. And we'll also take a look under the hood now to see, does it have a frunk or not? So let's take a look here. Yes, we do have a small frunk. There we go. Fits a charging cable or something more. Also here, nice dampening underneath, even against vibrations and so on. Top speed is 165 kilometers an hour or 100 miles per hour. Now to the interior is a nice key fob when you approach the vehicle or when you do it manually with the opening and closing. Door handles come towards you and then they are actually manual. Door closing sound. Solid. And solid here also for the rear. Inside of the doors, top part is, let's say, it's not super soft when you push it in, but it is a nice surface. It looks nice and also feels nice. This is a new surface here. This is a little bit softer than actually, and nice integrated door handle. And I really love to see that here. Steering wheel heating, seat cooling, not available simultaneously though. And memory seating, everything here, seat massage, everything inside of the door, separate button. Also then here, classic control unit for the windows. Windows are also laminated, all four. Just the lower part is not fabric covered. And then here, GT line. There's a special sporty steering wheel, drive mode selector in the lower part. Real buttons at the steering wheel. Left side cruise control, right side for the volume jog, for example. Favorite button. And then these seats here are the top GT line seats. Full leatherette, perforated, all animal-free material, seat and steering wheel. High quality, really soft, nice also in the sit bone area. And as I said, heated, cooled. Base seats would be fabric, then middle trim, fabric inside, leatherette outside, and this then here the top trim. Very comfortable indeed, and also easy electric adjustment. You've seen that there was the lumbar support all the way out. I can also remove that back again. I'm rather driving without lumbar support. Electric control here and there. Steering wheel manual, up and down, in and out, good driving position. And also here 189, 6'2", enough space for my head. So upright SUV driving position, everything you want basically. There's one catch here on the right knee, but I show you that from the cockpit perspective. But very good first impression. Welcome here to the cockpit of the Kia EV5. And remember, we're not price-wise in the premium segment, but this is indeed a premium interior with a lot of different features. And yeah, I already talked about the seats here. Also really nice here, stamped in GT line, top of the head restraint. And I also like this dual color scheme. I also have this gentleman function that I can control the passenger seat from here with some controls at the side of the seat. And there's also here this relaxation form available. Yeah, this could be a nice stop at the charging station. Then, the front part goes up and this one then goes all the way behind. And I can do the same here with the driver's seat. And yeah, I said earlier, this one charges a little bit slower than the Kia EV6. So you maybe take some more time at the charging stop, and then, yeah, maybe Leah and I have a nice time here relaxing at the charging stop. This is a pretty cool feature, definitely. And I mean, you're just more flexible with whatever you want to do with the car. There we go. We can go then back in this position again. And the middle console here is really large. Look at that. Here, it's an inductive charging plate. This one is not ventilated though. So I would always trust in cable charging. Then here, plop, plop. Whoa. This is the cup holder. It's also somewhat adaptive, but I think a second adaptive knob would be necessary to really hold bottles tight. This one only holds like light, like coffee cups and so on tight. And look at that again, how quick they come out. So maybe don't put children's hands in there. Bang, bang. You can. It's more like a guillotine, you know, the little one. And then here, soft for your elbow. Pulling this one up, some more space underneath. Then here, a lot of space in the front part. So Leah probably loves that for maybe like a handbag and so on. This one in here, you can decide between charging and connecting or only charging. Right side then only charging. And this then here another 12-volt power supply, for example. Then we come towards the dashboard, which is soft here and also structured. We have a normal glove box, which is also dampened here when going down. Some clutter in there. Then this one here is like a plain surface, but I think it's fine. These ones are some hotkeys that are rather capacitive, like for home and for the car internal map here and so on. So this is the car internal map. You know, classic Kia logic, where they also have, they like to have this like this direction, you know, and no matter where, like this compass direction, even if you put in the GPS destination. Then the manual volume drop, really appreciate that, and also manual climate unit here, up and down, and also the fan speed. And you see it here in the main infotainment unit, but you also see it in this special middle infotainment unit. This is also a touchscreen, but it's also a visualization, and maybe more for the passenger, because when I sit here, I can soon show that from the driver's perspective, this middle screen is rather blocked by the steering wheel. So it's also good that I see it here then as an overlay, but I'm happy that I can just look straight, and then a little bit colder, a little bit warmer, so I don't even have to look at that. That's pretty cool. You have the shifting pedals here, which are not for shifting, but for recuperation. And here you can go like stronger recuperation, not so strong. Holding the right one is to the auto recuperation, so it depends on if there's a car in front of you or not. And left side holding is for the I pedal, for one pedal driving, strong recuperation plus full stop. But you can also do something then in between. One limitation here, as for ergonomics, if you have long legs like I, and then I want to put the steering wheel a little bit lower, it doesn't work because you have the shifting here. The shifting lever is in itself actually quite practical, like front, reverse, park, that's it. Start, stop here. Well, start, stop is not that easy to reach, but I have to put the steering wheel always maybe a little bit higher than I would like to, because then, you know, I have no problems with my knees here. But that's not EV5 specific. Kia, Hyundai have this logic here that they have the shifting lever here. And then, yeah, if you have really long legs, some, you know, feel a little bit obstructed by that. And you can see this horizontal unit goes all the way through in digital instruments and the main infotainment unit. So you have a lot of infotainment in here, yes, but it's more like drawn back in comparison to other modern cars. This is not like not super screen in your face. And the driver POV, once again here with these nice buttons to scroll in the digital instruments, for example. These red flashing lights, I only see them on camera, by the way. It's like the infrared checker if I'm still awake and so on, but you don't see that with your own eyes. Then you have a head-up display right there. And in the EU version, by the way, you will also be able to press and hold the mute button then to cancel the beep, beep, beep chime for the speed limiter. However, we will also have a new sound scheme in this vehicle, which is more subtle, drawn back. Looking forward to that. And here the main infotainment unit, once again with this middle unit. And yeah, I say this map and so on, it could be a little bit quicker, more responsive. Most of the time you will probably then go for the smartphone interface. Smart features are car wash mode, that you don't have to care what you do in the car wash, just activate this one, and also a pet mode is available. Now to the rear seats, and this comes unexpected. We have some luxury features here in the rear, and even beginning with the rear door with seat heating for the rear seats. Of course, this is an option. And then here we have, even in the rear, the laminated glass. It's both in the front and in the rear. That's pretty cool here. And then for the Korean market, in this case also with the privacy foil, that everything is darkened out. It's a thing here. Then it's nicely structured, but not too soft on the top part. Softer than here for your elbow, also with a dual tone scheme. And then surprising features here, we have some hidden tables here. So that's something, right? And this, I would suspect that you can put an iPad up right here also, or maybe like a phone. Would you agree? This is like, yeah, Leah agrees. And the same thing I can do here, or yeah, maybe also for a laptop here or something. It's actually good for editing then here in the rear. So that's actually cool. And here the seat in the front, I can also control it from here, maybe like for a chauffeur position. And then in the lower part, more surprises. Well, first of all, the climate unit, also manual and easy to read. And then we can pull this here and have another storage for the rear. That's actually pretty cool. It's also warm from the climate unit. Interesting. There we go. And even floor, EV platform. And since this here is an SUV, you don't have the problem that your feet are too high. You know, this is sometimes a problem then, or well, actually always a problem in EV sedans. And then I can pull this one to a rather sleeping position or to a more upright cargo position. And the reality, which is most comfortable for driving, is probably, yeah, maybe not too far, but something in between, like, yeah, probably something like this is the most comfortable. Once again, the perforated leather red, very soft and comfortable also for the rear. Isofix outside each. And then we can pull down this here. And this is like another cup holder cut out. You can also remove that if you like. It's not adaptive though. Ski hatch would also be available. You can also pull that down from here. And the space I have here, well, as I said, it's very comfortable to sit here from the materials, also upright. And then some legroom left. This is here with the table though, you know, so I guess without the table you would have even more legroom. And here headroom, still some left, 1A9 602. And this here, the panoramic roof. You can very well see that. And this is also a panoramic roof you can still actually open for fresh air. So we rarely see that with EVs nowadays. And then when it's very, very sunny and hot, you can also apply this shade here. And this also is actually quite quick. Sometimes we have where it's like, okay, we see you next hour, in the next hour, and then it's, you know, gone. But this is here actually quite quick. So yeah, the question is, which box is, you know, not ticked here in the rear? Even USB-C chargers in the back part of the seats, so they thought of everything here. Now to the trunk or the boot, which is at 570 liter, and one of the major advantages if you compare it to the EV6. Then let's take a look at this one here. Out there would also be a cover, which is not today in this vehicle, but you can see here, this is where you usually have the roll cover. Then we have here a meter or 40 inches in width in the lowest point, and the length here at 35 inches, about 90 centimeters. And about the height and length, this is really variable. First of all, here underneath there is still even more space, and you can also put this one completely out, or you can move it like this into the lower position. Here we go. So now we're in the lower position, and then we have wow, look at that here, height of 34 inches or 87 centimeters, so very well usable there. And then here you can see the difference. This is the upright, more cargo position, top tether behind, and this is where the bench is all the way in the back. The reality might be somewhere in between, so to speak. And the cool thing is also we even have a remote unlock here. There we go, right and left. I mean, this part is where the build quality could maybe be a little bit better. It's maybe the only thing we found here on the interior. And then let's see this one and this one. There we go. And this is really flexible overall. And of course, when you want to load through things easier, then you can also put this in the upper position once again, like this. Then you have the even floor, and then the total length to the front seat is here, about 1 meters 80 or 71 inches. I'm really happy with the trunk here, and you have even more accessories here, for example, where you can secure something additionally. You can also set it in different steps here. So cool ideas. And here's even like this real power socket at the inside of the trunk. It always looks like a small smiley. And let's start driving with the Kia EV5, the new electric SUV. Well, I mean, the original question was, would Sportage customers be convinced? And what we saw on exterior and interior, oh, actually, the Sportage just next to us now, letting us in now. Yeah. So it was fitting to the moderation. I mean, the exterior looks stunning. The interior is great quality and more flexible, actually, even than the Sportage. And now the question is, what does it hold in driving? And of course, we're starting here with the advantages of the electric vehicles, that it's silent, especially also when you're here stuck in traffic and so on. And so on the interior, laminated glass, left, right, even in the rear. So it's really, really silent in here. And if you want to have even more silent on the motorway, you would also close the top shade, for example, to bring the noise level maybe even a little bit lower. And here I can already show you when I press and left the left pedal, I pedal, here complete one pedal driving comes to a full stop, strong recuperation, and I can also then put it off again, can also hold the right pedal. This would then be the auto recuperation. So in this case then, there's a car in front of us. So then it also comes to a stop in the auto mode. Or if you don't want that, if you rather want to do everything manual, you, for example, put level 0 and then it would just keep rolling until I cancel it myself with the brake. And first quick city acceleration, 20 to 50 or 25 to 50, let's go. There it is. That was like 25 to 60 already. And front-wheel drive only version, all-wheel drive later on. But even this is for most situations more than quick enough. In the sport mode was quite funny, by the way. The side bolsters of the seats are also tightened. Here's some red visualization. Nice ambient lighting all the way around, by the way. You've maybe seen it now in the tunnel. So special sport adaptation then in this case. And also the throttle input is way more reactive. You can also set an individual driving mode. Now going back to the normal driving mode. And the suspension and steering setup, they say, is a little bit softer here for the Korean market. It depends then what's the real difference. Then later on we have to see. For some it might be more, for some it might be less. But then in this case here, I wouldn't see that this setup is super soft. We also have 19-inch wheels on here, right? So 18-inch you would pick if you want more comfort, 19-inch then for the GT line, and if you want like a sporty approach to this vehicle. But I have to say it is already quite firm. Let's now drive a little bit quicker onto this inner city motorway. And here there's no dead zone area, so good reactions from the steering. I also don't feel that it's too soft. Let's see here in the sport mode once again. Maybe a little bit more feedback than in the steering. But I think that's overall fine. Here, let's get onto this lane change. Yeah, the car is not shaking up at all. Since you have these electric SUVs, the center of gravity is really, really low. And that means you also don't have so much shaking anyways, So yes, on the one hand, downside of the EVs is that you have higher weight. But then again, center of gravity is low. That's again a good thing. Here, also this blind spot monitor integration in the instruments. Always when I turn left or hit the turning indicator, then you also have this additional blind spot, but also the triangle in the side mirror. So basically a dual blind spot visualization. And when I hit the right turning indicator, you have it here on the right side. And it will be very interesting to find out now more about the whole sound experience. Maybe you will realize that while we drive, or maybe the thing is that you will not realize it. And that's actually the goal, because before we had a lot of, let's say, unpleasant sounds with this vehicle, with Kia, Hyundai, Genesis vehicles. And that was often a little bit annoying. And now they have made a new sound scheme where also all other models will profit from, that the sounds that the car is generating are more drawn back. That it's not like, or I sometimes say like some sounds, even when you have like the ignition on and open the door or something, you thought like, oh, there's like a, I don't know, like a bomb is about to go off or something like that. But now everything is more drawn back. So they got the feedback then from us, got the feedback from you, and now everything is more subtle in also how the car is basically communicating to you. That's actually a good thing. But the first beeping sound right there, for example. There we go, and now we're driving 80 kilometers an hour, like about 50 miles an hour, and you already profit from this good noise insulation. This wave we just went through, this is maybe where you feel the little bit softer Korean setup, because here on this market, everything is set on comfort, you know, with the seat heating, seat cooling functions, which are really, really very popular here. And then the suspension should rather be soft. You often go like straight, stuck in traffic, jam and so on, or maybe if you have an uneven road. And this could be a good idea for a lot of cars. So some cars, meanwhile, I think on the European or the US market are trimmed too harsh from the suspension, I feel. So maybe they should adapt something from this market here, or what do you think? By the way, when you are in dense traffic, you can of course also here set the adaptive cruise control. Distance is kept to the car in front of you. Let's maybe here manually overtake, because this lane is a little bit stuck, so to speak. So there we go. And you're really flexible always with this instant EV acceleration, even though this is only the front wheel drive, 8.4 seconds. Still quick enough. And then here, adaptive cruise control set. You can also activate or deactivate this active lane keeping assist, depending on if you like that or not. And there we go. Let's see how the car is being kept in the lane, if there are like more corrections and so on. Also increase the speed then here with your left thumb. When you hold it, you do like 10 km/h steps, upward and downward, or just a single click is then 1 km step. And so far, there's a Sportage once again. The Sportage also a very popular car here on the Korean market, of course. However, they rather prefer the bigger versions. The Sorento, for example, which is right there. And the same for the Hyundai Santa Fe and the Hyundai Tucson, where even the Santa Fe is sold more often the bigger version each. So that's a curious thing to find out always. So far, the cruise control here is making good job. So good acceleration, good braking, and also how the car is kept in the lane in a very smooth way. And yeah, I can just stress again this. There seems to be like this new Kia focus to make the cars more upmarket, make them more comfortable, add a lot of features. Whoa, 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 whoa! This is beginning to be interesting. This traffic and people just pulling into the lanes. Yeah, that's about the crazy traffic situation here in Seoul. People living in Seoul might confirm that. But you always feel very agile and quick here with this electric drivetrain, although you're already driving like a significant size SUV, let's take it that way. And we recently drove the Kia Sportage facelift. So they are back to the original initial question. And since you have this calmness, but at the same time, this instant acceleration, this feels more upmarket in driving than the Kia Sportage. The Sportage might also not have like the, let's say, engines that are most emotional, so to speak. So this one then here helps to give you a more sophisticated driving experience. That's definitely the case. The crucial point for some still might be if you don't have the proper charging infrastructure, of course. That's, to me, still the main issue for people that want to switch maybe from combustion engine to electric drivetrain. But everything you experience as a customer beside charging infrastructure, you really have to say that you here get the better car interior and driving experience with the EV5 if you compare it to the Sportage. That's definitely already a very interesting finding. You maybe saw that here, I'm not sure, like 20-30 seconds ago, there was like some intervention from the steering wheel, which was maybe a little bit too much. But overall, I think also decent job here from these assistance systems. Oh, just saw this baby blue Porsche Taycan. Porsche is also a thing here in Korea. So one of the biggest Porsche markets, although it's like population-wise not such a huge market. It's a significant market, but surely not the biggest ones population-wise. But Porsche is really famous here as for like the foreign cars, and of course Tesla Model Y and Mercedes E-Class, also very popular non-Korean vehicles here. Other than that, if you look on the road, the Hyundai Kia dominance here and a lot of Genesis is really significant. So a lot of domestic cars are being used here, very popular. And about the suspension and the 19-inch wheels, so I feel it's okay from setup. So looking forward to if the European version would be much stiffer or something, but also when you have like, something like the transverse bump on the road, or here these manhole covers, still okay. 18-inch would give you more comfort, but I think you're really fine. Here, by the way, also like when we are like this, it's like really steep. looks pretty funny, probably also on camera. And then it's so easy with the EV also in these situations, because you don't have like the engine like going like this, and of course with a manual you would have to work the clutch, and here it's so easy just to stop anywhere and then to smoothly get going again. So that's overall a very easy and relaxed drive. This is how I would summarize this one here. Super smooth vehicle and adds really to this premium atmosphere. And here the camera system, you can see we have this visualization, can look backward, can look forward, it's the front view camera. And here also this very interesting visualization that I see, drone view from above. It's of course all done with the cameras around the car, that you can really see what I'm doing. And the first consumption average, here we were driving 80 kilometers an hour, like 50 miles an hour on the motorway. And this was here 17 kilowatt hours per 1 kilometer, so 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour. That would be a real world range from these limited speeds, so not too fast highway, city driving and so on, of 480 kilometers, or that is about 300 miles, approximately like that. Yeah, but that's like the most ideal situation. I mean, it's not too warm here today. At the moment, 7 degrees Celsius, so pretty cold. But this was like, without high speeds, because here, like, and on a lot of Asian markets, this is still like a realistic figure, because in so many dense populated areas, you cannot drive faster anyways, German motorway, higher speed will be a different animal for sure. Pricing from 46,000 euros to 55,000 euros if you go GT line and full spec and so on. So that would be roughly 39,000 pounds to 48,000 pounds. So you see that if you spec this vehicle also with the comparable battery and so on, it is a little bit lower in pricing than the Kia EV6. However, it is larger, better suitable for the family and luggage and so on. However, then with slower charging. So tell me, what do you think about the Kia EV5? And if you would actually exchange a Sportage petrol against here the electric version, so to speak. And now it's time to check out some competitors.